Recording some stuff. Let a computer know. Thousand low. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doo. Hey guys, Captain Coots, wearing the exact same clothes because I'm shooting this immediately after. A lie. I made a couple mistakes. I'm reshooting some stuff. So we just got done learning how to open up the BSA files and how to use it for us. But now we're going to be doing some actual more modding work on the Mobile Truck Base. So in order to do that, to gain access to everything, we're going to pop open our mod organizer here. We're going to select the GEC and go ahead and hit run. GEC is going to take a second to load through the New Vegas script extender. And then right here, what we're going to do is we're going to go this file open here. We're going to scroll to Mobile Truck Base, which happens to be on the bottom of my load order. Click the set active file and then hit OK. And then while we're waiting for this to load, I want to talk about what we've been doing so far. Okay, so as far as our tasks are concerned, we have finished number 1. We brought this to Tale of Two Wasteland 3.2 compliance by removing any dependency that this mod had on the outdated advanced hardcore days safely or what have you function. We handled it in our own way. I think it's fine. We fixed the bugs that were associated with it in another short video, but yes, Olivia, it happens. Okay, today we're going to focus on fixing the fuel bug. There were reports of it not using handmade fuel at all, even though it was supposed to. And so we're going to take a look at just how it handles fuel, what's going on there, and see what we can fix. Okay. We are then in a later set of videos here going to revise the Capital Wasteland to Mojave Wasteland travel. Make sure that that works exactly the way that Tale of Two Wastelands has it set up, so we don't create any sort of funkiness between that travel and this travel. We just want to make sure that it handles it as vanilla as possible if we count Tale of Two Wastelands as the vanilla. We're going to use that as our gold standard. We've already done something the way that they did it, so we're going to keep doing that. We are then going to incorporate PintoCat fixes that they did to repair some bugs in their own TTW 3.2 mod, which is great, but you can't travel between the wastelands, so that's why I'm not using it. All right, then who knows what we're going to do after that, but we are certainly not going to profit when all is said and done. Okay, so we are going to be dealing with scripts. We want to take a peek at what scripts we have to edit here, because that's where basically a lot of the magic's happening. TDX was the prefix that the authors were using, and so what we're really looking for are fuel and travel are probably the key culprits here. So let's double click on this thing. All right, let's take a peek here. There's an event when the container closes. Fine, we'll look at that in a second. This is the primary event that gets called when the script gets called. Okay. Now, if the container that this is presumably attached to, if when you count up all the flamer fuel in it, if that is less than or equal to 10, and if you look in that container and count up all of the homemade flamer fuel in that, and that is less than or equal to 10, then turn on a low fuel designator. Okay, what this low fuel guy right here is, it's just it just lets us know, it pops up a little message, hey, you're low on fuel, you can't travel. So this is useful. Okay, so if they are both under 10, then do this. However, there's a less than or equal to, so that's already a bug. So if you have precisely enough fuel, it's not going to let you travel. It's going to say you're low fuel. That's not what I want. Okay, otherwise go ahead and disable the low fuel things. That works fine. So the and logic here is fine. The comparison logic here is not okay. But there's another kind of funky thing that's going on here that I don't necessarily like. Let's say you have 6 flamer fuel and 9 homemade flamer fuel. And probably any reasonable player would say you've got 15 fuel in there. But the low fuel ref will be enabled. So it will be saying you have low fuel. So we're going to need to edit this stuff here to incorporate total fuel load and this instead of that. Less than instead of less than or equal to. Like, that's probably what we're going to go for here. Now, when you close the container here, that's what this on close event does. Looks in the container, and if you're holding at least 10 flamer fuel, or, that's how you read those 2 lines, at least 10 homemade flamer fuel, play a little sound. We're ready to go. That looks fine. Okay, so we're going to have to edit this script. I'm going to, I just noticed something. It just made me think of something. 10 here is hard-coded in, right? But if we recall, we have these variables, specifically fuel local is the one that we're looking for here to say whether or not you're low on fuel. We should probably use that. And the fact that it's not used is bad. So the whole script here needs an edit to use tdx bars dot fuel local. Great. I'm just making note of these things. Whoop. Oh no, this way. Oop. And we'll fix them later once we've got everything sorted. Now there's a fuel converter. That's cool. What does this do? Oh, this is the one that's just popping up the message. The first time you go to use the fuel converter, it says, hey, this is what the fuel converter is. We should probably check out that message to see what it says so we can really try to get at the spirit of what the mod author wanted. So I'm going to click message, fuel converter MSG01. This converter will turn your flamer fuel into a usable fuel source for your vehicle. Must be at least 10 units of flamer fuel added in the container in order to start the process. Just says nothing about homemade fuel, but I like the idea of incorporating homemade fuel, so that needs to be edited. We'll put that over there. Let's go back to scripts. Now we've got a New Vegas travel quest script and a van travel quest script. We'll open up the van one that's local. Yeah, we see here everywhere it uses the fuel local, which is great, but it's only referencing flamer fuel. So we're going to have to edit that one. And my guess is, where's the New Vegas one? Yeah, this does the same. So that's certainly going to have to be edited. All right. Oh, and some friends of mine teased me because I used the British spelling of traveled. Shut up. Okay, so even if that is the British, I don't know, I just use 2 L's. All right, so we've got some targets here that we want to edit, but I think this is going to raise a pretty good design decision, a design choice that we're going to have to make, okay? Now, in one instance, we can keep explicit track of the regular and homemade flamer fuels that are inside the tank. And so what this means is that whenever we go to use it, we're going to have to check how much of each do we have? Do they add up to be at least 10? If they do, how do we use them to make the trip? Do we use up all the homemade fuel until we need some more and then use the regular fuel? And so as I'm asking these questions, those are instructions we have to give to the game. So that sounds like a lot to do. There's another one of doing a conversion. All right. Now what this would mean is that whenever I put fuel into the tank, I'm going to change it into something else entirely, which could be daunting, right? The pros of keep explicit track here is your flamer fuel is always in the tank. It's not going to get changed to anything else. You can take it back out whenever you want. The cons are there's a lot more overhead to this. The pros to doing a conversion is that you put in flamer fuel, it's just going to take it and convert it to just a third fuel source here, which is only usable in the truck, and that is easy to keep track of. The cons here is that you lose your flamer fuel. I'm actually leaning towards number 2 on this design choice here, because I think putting fuel into the truck is going to be a decision that you make in order to operate the truck. Even if you're putting a shit ton of flamer fuel in there, you probably aren't using it for anything else. And so I'm going to go with do a conversion. And also it introduces a great opportunity here for us to build our very first record of our own in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Misc item. So I'm going to click on items and Misc item. These are just things that like don't really have that much of an impact on, well, they're not like ammo or weapons or things like that. They just go under the miscellaneous tab. I'm going to right click on the right hand side here. I'm going to click new, and this little window here is going to pop up. I need to give it an ID, something that I'm going to reference whenever I go to use this item. I'm going to stick to TDX, but now I'm going to throw on Coots here to denote that this is something that I am specifically adding. And I'm going to put truck fuel. I'm going to spell it correctly. And the name, so that when you look at the item, it's going to be called truck fuel. Now, what I'd like to do is to make this similar to flamer fuel, but obviously it's not ammunition, so it's not going to be able to work as such. I'm going to click on ammo. I'm going to type the word flamer. And let's open up flamer fuel. And if it opens up. Okay, cool. Homemade flamer fuel. If it opens up. Cool. There is a, holy shit. There is several others. These are all base game, more or less. There's a robot flamer fuel. So there's even more flamer fuels than what we were told. Oh my lord. And they are all flamer fuels. We should use all of these. And what is this? This is Optimize, the Vigilant Recycler Flamer Fuel. Amazing. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so if we take a look at what all these have to do with, the major points that they're going to differ on is value, weight, and then any sort of special things down on the bottom under effects. So the robot and homemade have value 0. These guys have a value of 1. Okay, the weights here range all the way from very lightweight to about twice as heavy. Okay. Then we've got all these condition decay, damage bonus, DT bypass. So it looks like this stuff is really high octane, as it should be. And everything else is more or less okay. This is damaging to your item. All right. So I think I've come up with a compromise of what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a value of 0. Give our Misc item a weight of 0.02, just to be somewhere in the middle. And when we end up doing conversion, I want my optimized fuel to create a little bit more than regular. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go like that. Okay, so I want to give it a weight of 0.02. And since the optimized fuel here, if we take a look back at it, it weighs about half as much. I'm going to make it create twice as much truck fuel as I make a mess with all of these windows. I just had it perfectly nice and neat, and then I ruined it. All right, so we're not only going to fix a bug, we're just going to give it more features. So now I need an inventory image, and this is where unpacking the BSAs that I showed you how to do in the last video, which if you haven't done it, click the thing, pause this, go watch. Okay, because when I hit edit here, it's going to take me to my Fallout New Vegas textures folder here. So what I want to do real quick is I want to look, these are going to be found in interface, icons, Pip-Boy images, items, item flamer fuel. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the folder at which I used to extract my BSAs, which I called C modding New Vegas BSA extracts, textures, interface. What was the next one? Oh, I forgot where I was looking. Over here. Click here. Go this way. Interface. Interface icons, Pip-Boy images. Interface icons, Pip-Boy images, items. Oh, we've got lots of items here. Okay, so now specifically what I'm looking for is flamer fuel, so it's probably item flamer fuel, or maybe it's not item flamer fuel. What's it called? Items flamer fuel. Yeah, it is what it's called. Okay, why couldn't I find it? Because it's not really in alphabetical order. Flamer fuel right there. So I'm going to take this file. I'm going to copy it because there's no reason in cutting it and getting rid of it. I'm going to now navigate all the way to my New Vegas data folder. And so this might be a good time for you to set up easy to use shortcuts that take you to this folder on the regular basis, so you don't have to do this all the time. Okay. Now, once I'm here, if there's not the folder path that I'm looking for, I need to create it. And it needs to be identical, okay? Textures. New folder. Interface. New folder. Icons. The whole bunch here. Pip-Boy images is the next one. And then I think that's the last one. I think after that, I just... Nope. Oh, that's where items is. Uh-oh, did I screw this up? Interface icons. Interface icons. Oh, no. Okay. Go. Items. Capitalization doesn't matter. Paste. Oh, it's there. Okay. Now, what's neat about this is once you've got that there, you can come back to this, not this, this right here, go to Inventory Image, click Edit, and then you navigate to that folder that you legit just created. So we're in Textures here, right? So we need to go to Interface, Icons, Pip-Boy Images, Items, and there's my Flamer Fuel right there. Go ahead and hit Open, and it'll populate that thing right there. That's awesome. Now this one's in Interface, Icons, Pip-Boy Images, Small, Items, Small, blah, 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 blah. See, what would be fantastic is if it would just work like the Fallout 4 one and have these things opened up. Or if our BSA tool allowed us to, I don't know, extract individual files. It probably does, and I probably just don't know how to. C'est la vie. I'm going to go to my data folder right here, and I'm going to create, I think I can pin this. Not shortcut, that's not what I want. I want pin to start. No, I want the whatever. Click and drag. There we go, pin to quick access. Aha, it's right there now. Okay, so let's go back to our modding folder. New Vegas BSA extracts, textures. We're going to scroll to interface. We are going to go to icons. We are going to go Pip-Boy Images Small, Items Small, and now we want to find, so it's Glow Item Flamer Fuel. Okay, so Glow Items Flamer Fuel right there. Oh, going to copy that. Data, textures, interface, icons, new folder, Pip-Boy Images Small. Because if I could extract individual files, I would have extracted these just directly to my data folder. I just don't like there to be too many loose files just kind of hanging out. So there it is right there. Close that, hit the message icon, and then navigate again to that location. Where is it? There we go. And then the last one but not least is model. So under weapons, two-hand automatic, assault rifle magazine.nif. That's what that is. What is this one? Ammo flamer fuel.nif. That's the one I want. Oh, the robot fuel comes as a magazine. That's weird. Okay, so ammo flamer. That's the one I want. So we're going to go back to, whoops, we lost it. Nope. C modding. BSA extracts. We're going to open up my meshes. Ammo. And ta-da, right here, flamer fuel. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that. Then we will go to my data folder. There's no meshes here, so we're going to create it. New folder. Meshes, new folder, ammo, not ampo, ammo, paste. So it's right there, sitting pretty, waiting for us to use it. Okay, great. Unlock this crap so I can minimize you. Okay, great. I'm going to hit edit here, and then I'm going to get my flamer fuel. Great, that's what it looks like now in game without the ground. Cool. I'm going to hit OK. And we've created our very own first item. I should be saving more often than I am. So what? Okay. Let's edit this message now. You can be able to turn any type of flamer fuel into usable fuel source for your vehicle. There must be at least 10 units. Vehicle. Truck fuel. There must be at least 10 units of truck fuel in order to start the process. How about travel anywhere? Great. Let's drag this out. Is there an OK button anywhere? There it is. OK. You want to just go ahead and hit ignore all or cancel on these. Okay, and just hit OK. Boom. We've updated the message to reflect that now we're taking all of these fuels in. Cool. This is the first script that we're going to focus on right here, this container business, all right? We've got a lot of work to do in here. Okay. Now, right here, before we do all this checking into, this is where we're going to do conversion of fuel. Okay. And so what we're going to do is the following. We're going to check if the container in question, we're going to count up the items in it. And let's do regular old flamer fuel first. And we're just checking if it's greater than 0. Does it have any? Okay. If so, what we're going to do is in this container, ref, we're going to add an item. Okay. The item we're going to add is TDX Coots truck fuel. And now the question is, how many of this TDX Coots truck fuel do you add? Well, go ahead and let's do something. Let's make this a little bit easier to read. I don't want really long command lines here, okay? So I'm going to go int fuel count set fuel count equal to TDX fuel container ref dot get item count ammo flamer fuel. Cool. We get to replace all this right here then with fuel count. We get to add a fuel count amount of truck fuel. And then finally, TDX fuel container ref. We need to remove an item. What item are we going to remove? Ammo flamer fuel. And we're just going to empty it out. Okay, so just looking at that part right there, it's going to count them and remove them. Okay, I'm going to do this for each and every fuel with an else if structure. No, not an else if structure, just an end if. And I need a whole new set here. Set fuel count. I lied. Oh, I can't put equals. 2. Get rid of that equal sign. This is a hangover from better programming languages. Okay, cool. Look in the container in question. Get the item count for ammo, flamer, fuel, homemade. Great. And now basically we do the exact same bit of code here. Right here. Except right here, I put the word homemade. Excellent. Does this make sense? Repeat it for all of them. So let's go ahead and copy this chunk of code right here. Paste. Whoops, paste. I like to leave a little bit of room. So we see here, I'm making the script much longer here, but it's actually doing the fuel conversion now. Okay. So now instead of we haven't done that one yet. We did regular flamer fuel, close. We did homemade flamer fuel, close. We're going to do flamer fuel robot now. Oh my God, come here. Robot. Great, and that one's done. Close. And then I wanted this one, which is a huge, the DLC added one, right? Now, normally you want to do a bunch of checks to see if the DLC is even installed. This is Tale of Two Wastelands. If you don't have the DLC involved and this causes problems, it's not my problem. That's what this mod was made for. You're just SOL. So I'm replacing the fuel count, how to get them, with that little item right there. And then instead of add item this, I'm going to throw in a ×2. Great. So we have converted all the fuel. Now right here, I'm no longer checking these various flamer fuels here. I'm checking TDX Coots truck fuel, right? But I need to count them here. So I need to look into the fuel container reference. I need to get its item count. Whoops, there's no space there. There's a space there. And if it is greater than or equal to 10, play the sound. You're ready to go. All right, so this makes sense about how we've just converted all the fuel to this truck fuel. This bad boy right here, which I'm going to copy because I don't want to type that a whole bunch. All right, so far so good. Now, what this is going right here is this is the disabler enabler business here now. Now, I don't care about all the various types of fuel. I don't have to keep typing them. I'm just doing my truck fuel. Don't care about the less than or equal to, and go ahead and delete the rest of that. That makes sense, right? Because now all we need to do is check for truck fuel. That's the one that disables it or enabled it, not the other ones. Cool? Cool. So we now have, let's go ahead and try to compile it. It compiled. Fantastic. Let's close it down. That one's fixed. So now we need to check the travel scripts because this is where we actually use the fuel. Okay. So right here in all these instances, all I'm going to do is replace it with my special, handy dandy, Coots truck fuel. You can see how normally in these spots right here, when I'm doing these checks, I'd have to decide what combination of the various flamer fuels do I want to use, and then implement that when we go to remove items. This just handles it for us, right? Great. Compile. Awesome. We didn't fix something that I wanted to fix. Let's go back. TDX. Fuel converter? Nope, not the fuel converter. Fuel container. Why they are named that way, I would have named them the exact opposite way. Whatever. These 10s have got to go. Okay? This 10 right here needs to be changed to TDX bars dot fuel local. TDX bars dot fuel local. Did I spell it right? I did spell it right. Fantastic. So now it's actually comparing them to the local thing. So if you change them off of 10, you won't get errors when you're not supposed to. Okay, let's go ahead and bloop and bloop. That's it. We've officially fixed the fuel bug. Go ahead and hit save. You should have been hitting save 70 or 80 times through that whole process. Thank you guys very much for sticking through this whole big video. Stick around. We'll make some others. Okay. Where's the